Extreme rugged construction, super spacious pocket configuration, and knee protection that's both reliable and comfortable. Gear up with the Striker X Combat Pants. Visit ufpro.com.
Tactical field care. As we're no longer being engaged by the enemy, possess the time and the resources to take care of our downed canine, we jump right into our modified M.A.R.C.H algorithm, which stands for Muzzle, Massive Bleeding, Airway Management, Respirations, Circulations, Hypovolemia, Hypothermia, Hyperthermia, and Head Injury. So glove up and get help, preferably from a person which the dog knows and loves. He will help you out and help calm the canine. So, canine tactical field care. We start with our modified M.A.R.C.H algorithm. The first M stands for muzzle. We have to think about our own safety and think about applying a muzzle. Even the most trained and friendly canine may become hostile and dangerous while injured, taking in consideration that the dog's airway may be compromised by facial trauma, is vomiting, or is suffering from a heat-related injury. And if we take away the dog's ability to pan, we're also taking away his main ability to lose body heat, which may worsen his potential hyperthermia. Do take in consideration when we're muzzling a dog, we're also taking away his main weapon source, which could also defend us. Sadly, he's not armed with a gun, which would be totally cool, because being cool is also a soft rule. Second M stands for massive bleeding. Massive bleeding we're already addressed in cuff, so we recheck our interventions, make sure that they're doing their job. To look for massive bleeding may cause a bit of trouble because of the fur, so we do our blood sweeps. We start with the neck, X pockets, inguinal area. We continue to the head, torso, tail, legs, and now we turn him over, abdomen down, because we don't want to cause him a potential gastric torsion, which may cause a gastric dilatation, aka bloat. Now we do a bit of multitasking and prep our game for success. Before we roll, we prepare our equipment. We prep our litter, ready heat, and chest seals. We finish our blood sweeps, extend his neck, and recheck oral interventions. Next, we have airway management. There's not a lot of things that we can do if we are not vet med trained. First of all, we can take off his muzzle, if we haven't done that already. We can extend his neck to put his head in line with the neck. This helps him breathe, or allow the dog to take any composition that he wants to. So, we're already at the R portion of our modified M.A.R.C.H algorithm, respirations. We check for breathing, and look for holes in the box. And by holes in the box, I mean from the rocket to the neck. If we see any holes, we put an occlusive dressing on it. But like in humans, if our canine has trouble breathing and has a hole in the box, we put 2 and 2 together and do an NCD. But more about that in a later video. Now on to C, circulations. Because we've been taking some time doing other stuff, we recheck our interventions check if they're still holding. If we put a tourniquet on, maybe we convert it, because now we know nothing bigger is wrong, and feel for a pulse. The easiest way to find for a pulse is the femoral artery, which lies in the middle of the inner thigh. We want to feel a strong pulse, heart rate below 120, which is also normal at rest, so take that in effect. Now we check his capillary refill time, we press his gums, and we want to see a return of color in less than 2 seconds. If we find out our dog is going to shock, we need to get him to a medic, or to someone who knows how to give him an IV or an IO. Now we start in the H portion of our modified M.A.R.C.H algorithm. The first H stands for hypovolemia. There's not a lot of things that we can do for him. Maybe if he's thirsty, we can give him something to drink if it's a non-traumatic incident. Second H stands for hypothermia. It's not so frequent in dogs because of their fur coat, but still, we try to limit their exposure to the elements. So, we cover him with a blanket, improvise, just keep him warm. The third H stands for hyperthermia. We have a hot dog on our hands, so we need to move him to a cooler place, take off his muzzle if we haven't done this already, because by panting, dogs lose heat. Maybe wrap his paws and pour water on them, because by evaporation, it takes some of the heat off. The last H stands for head injury. If you see any head injuries, bandage them up the best you can, making sure you're leaving his senses intact. And while checking his head, you look for singe hair, which might tell you that he has inhalation injuries, which expedites our need for a medic. Now we did our best to preserve his life. If you don't know how to do an IV, we can still sprint the factors. If our good boy can swallow, we give him his combat pill pack. That takes care of the antibiotic and analgesic portion. Easy way to remember this is an acronym that works for humans too, PAWS, which stands for pain, antibiotics, wounds, and splinting. But for pain, we remember that human NSAIDs are a no-go for a dogo. I mean, we use some, but that's for the dog to decide. Burns are not so frequent due to the fact they don't wear a lot of flammable garments, but still, watch for inhalation injuries, like singe hair around the snout. And like always, we need to do some paperwork. We need to fill out our buddy's K9 TCCC card, because he was bad in school, he cannot write. That's why he joined the military, and because of crayons. That sums up our modified K9 M.A.R.C.H algorithm. Stay tuned for our next videos, and make sure to watch our combat medic videos.